Have you done geometry in class already?
Yeah, we're on similarity now.
Okay, cool. And how do you feel about it? Sort of, are we enjoying it or hating it or?
I hate it.
No! Do you just not see it or what's the reason?
I've never been a fan of geometry, to be honest.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can try and bring you over to the bright side.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Canva.
Hi, ma'am.
Have you done geometry in class yet?
I don't think so, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so you don't have an opinion yet. So I have to try and change some opinions, but you've got to go into this open-minded. We're just going to wait for a couple more people to join, and then we're going to get going and get this new section started. If it's just the two of you. Oh, I should have thought of some question from the last topic we did, at least for you to work on, but the others will get here now. If you're wanting, I'm not going to tell everyone to write all of these words down because it's going to take too long. But if you want to write them down in your books, you're welcome to while we wait. Hi, everyone. I'm just giving everyone a few more minutes to join the call. So don't panic if there's silence and you're worried you should be doing something. There are some words up on the board at the moment that we're just going to talk through. But if you someone who really likes to have your notes with you, you're welcome to start writing these things down. We're just gonna give everyone a chance to join the call before we get going. While you're here, though, can you give me an idea? Can you write in the comments? So just say whether or not you've done geometry in school already this year, and then give me a number from 0 to 10 on how you feel about geometry. So 0, you hate geometry, it doesn't make sense, and 10, you love geometry and everything makes sense. So just go into the chat, tell me first whether or not you've done geometry in class, and then give me a number. Right. Okay. That's a great number to start with. Thank you. Zero. Oh no. Guys, the numbers coming in are not making me feel good. I'm going to have to try and make these numbers considerably higher over the next four weeks. Keep them coming in though. So go through to the comments, tell me whether or not you've done geometry, and then give me a number from 0 to 10 on how you feel about geometry. So 0, very bad, 10, good. Okay, I will take that 5. Oh, we are negative numbers again. Great, great. If you've just joined, just can you go onto the chat for me for a second and just let me know if you've done geometry in school and where your comfort level is. So 0 is really bad. I hate geometry. I don't understand anything in geometry. 10, I love geometry. I understand it all. Ah, we finally have a high number. Yes. Yay. Progress. We have lots of negatives. So if you hate geometry, you're in good company at the moment. Okay. 3, that's okay. What I do recommend, because we're going to be in geometry for a month. So can you please make sure you have a piece of paper or a book somewhere that you can keep safe? So separate to where you do all your working. And we're going to slowly write down all the reasons on that piece of paper. And so then you can use that as a reference as we work forward. Okay, so if you haven't got one with you, go find yourself a piece of paper or a book that you can dedicate to geometry reasons. I'll give you a couple minutes to go grab that. And then we can get going. And if you haven't, just put your number in the chat for me on how you feel about geometry at the moment. Cool. Okay, so let's get going. So for geometry, we're going to be on this course for the next month. So we have 8 lessons on it. We potentially will have 2 lessons at the end, which we're focusing on quadrilaterals, but depending on how today goes, we may need to stretch out this beginning stuff over 2 lessons. So we're just going to see how everyone goes with the questions. Okay, so don't panic. I promise we'll cover everything we need by the end of the month. So all I have here at the moment that you can see on your screen is some basic words and some terminology. And we're just going to slowly work our way through this, and then we're going to jump straight into some questions. Now, I'm very strict when it comes to having the correct reason. And it's because in matric, if your reason is wrong, you don't get the mark. They're not kind. They don't think, oh, I know what this person means. It has to be the correct reason. And so when we get to talking about reasons, it's really, really important that you write it down exactly as it should be. And that's what you use going forward, so that when we learn it in grade 9, it stays in our head all the way to matric. Yes, so I just had a question, and geometry is definitely where you have to calculate degrees of angles. Hopefully, because we did equations together and geometry has a lot of equation work, we'll be able to make our way through this. Okay, so I'm just going to turn my camera off because I'm going to flip my screen over and we're going to start jumping into geometry. Okay, so let's go. So just some basic words just to understand what's going on. When we have a point, we normally just represent it as like a dot. So for example, like A, C, and B, those are all different points that we have. Okay, a line segment is where we are joining 2 of those points. So for example, this here would be a line segment, and we would call that line segment AC. So when we're talking about a line that's connecting, we talk about the 2 letters that are joined, the 2 points that are joining it together. Okay. 2 lines that meet at a point form an angle, and these lines are called the arms of the angle. So here we have AB and we have AC, and they are our 2 arms, and they form this angle here in the middle. Oh, goodness. So I'm just going through these words because when I use these words when we're talking, it's important that you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so if I'm talking about arms or lines or angles, it's important to know what those are. A vertex is the point where two arms meet. So I could have, if I had like a triangle, that's a vertex, and that's a vertex. So I can have more than one vertex in a picture. All of those would be a vertex. And if you wanted the plural for vertex, it's vertices. So vertices like that. So one vertex, many vertices. And the angle is the space that is between those two arms. Okay. I'm going over these quite quickly just because we need to sort of jump into the actual questions. This is just to make sure everyone knows what everything is. If at any point you don't know what I'm talking about, just let me know. Either unmute and tell me, or just tell me in the comments. I don't mind either. Okay. All right, then this is quite important. When we're labeling angles, there are different ways that we can label them. So first is if I have just a capital letter. So if I'm trying to label that angle A over there, because there's only one angle A, I can actually just say that that's angle A, and I have a little like cuppy, like a little hat on A. So I'm telling me that it's angle A. If I was writing like AB or AC, because they're two letters and they are capitals, that means I'm talking about lines. Okay. The next way is if I brought in three letters. So if I was trying to talk about this angle here, I would say, well, it's between AC and AB, right? So we kind of follow that path and we say, well, that angle would be CAB. Or we could also say BAC. Doesn't matter as long as A is in the middle, because that's where the actual angle is. Okay, here I have some subscripts going on. So if I cared about, let's get a different color since we're on a different question. If I cared about this angle here that's shaded, I would call it A1, angle A1. Or if I wanted to use my three letters, I could say that it is angle CAB. So these are just different ways I can say what an angle is. And the last way is if they are giving us variables and we want to know what these different angles are. If I wanted to know what that angle is, I could just say that that's angle Y, and this angle here would be angle X. So it is just what it is. We don't need to have a copy on it or anything. So those are just the different ways that we can write what an angle is. Does anyone need me to sit on this any longer? Just either just put your hand up as an emoji or let me know. Okay. Okay, sure, no problem. Do you remember how in algebra we had to kind of learn rules in the beginning because it's like learning a language? Geometry is the same. We have to learn these different rules and these different definitions because it's a language. And as long as you understand the language, you actually will be fine. I'm going to make all of those of you who don't like geometry, I'm going to make you love it by the end of this month. Okay, let's go. So the first thing we're going to talk about is intersecting lines, and this should all be revision from grade 8. So the first rule, and that page that I told you to get out that we're going to be referring to a lot, this is the first thing that every time I put something in a block like this, I want you to put it on that page. Okay, so our first thing, the label for in question. 1. I'm not sure what the question means, which label in question 1. Oh, we're talking about how I could say what this angle is. And I could call that angle just angle A. I'm allowed to just say it's angle A if it's the only angle there is. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I want you to write on that piece of paper or that book that you're keeping safe is this rectangle that I've got in here. The statement is, and this is just, we're keeping this there so that we know what's going on as we move around, but basically angles that are all the way around a point add up to 360 degrees. And the reason we use for this statement is angles round a point. So put this into your book or into your piece of paper that we're keeping safe. We're going to add to it as we move through geometry. If you feel like you will understand just from the picture, you can just write the picture and then just write your reason next to it. If you feel like you're not going to remember that, then you can write more information. It's up to you. But it's important for us to start keeping a log of all of this so that when we start adding more things, it doesn't get too scary. That's okay, don't worry. Okay. Just going to give you one more minute to write this down just so that everyone has it. And then we're going to look at some questions involving this reason. All right, let's get going. So we're going to start with a nice, easy question here. I'm going to help you with these first few, and then I'm going to let you start trying them yourselves. So what we're doing is we've started geometry. And no, it's okay for both of you. We've started geometry. This is the first reason that we've spoken about, so don't panic. You haven't missed too much yet. And all I'm asking is that you have a piece of paper or a book nearby that you can keep all of your reasons in as we move through the sections, something safe. And every time I put something in a rectangle, I want you to make sure you put that down on that safe page. Okay, so that's what they were doing when you guys joined. Now we're going to start our first examples with it. So first example here, I'm trying to find X. So whenever you see it written like this, or geometric statements and reasons, that's saying that whenever we say a statement, we need to have a reason to back it up. And we always put our reasons in brackets next to it. Okay, so be very careful with the format of what this looks like. I'm trying to find this X value over here. That would be a point, so that would be a vertex. And I know that if I went all the way around, it would equal 360 degrees. So I could say X plus 280 degrees is equal to 360 degrees. This is my statement. And then I would give my reason. In brackets, I would say angles round a point. That's my reason. Okay, so we have a statement and then we have reason. And what we land up creating is an equation. And I'm just trying to solve X. And I know we spend quite a lot of time doing equation work, so you should feel comfortable with it. And so all that's going to happen is I'm going to move, let's use a different green so you can see. I'm going to move that 280 over to the other side. So I'm going to say x is equal to 360 minus 280, which means x is equal to 80 degrees. Okay. Now this step, you don't have to show. If you felt comfortable and you could just do it, you could just jump straight to your answer. You could actually also go right at the beginning and just say x is 80 and then give your reason of angles around a point. Okay, I see 2 hands up. Are either of those questions or are they not? No.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
I need more time on the question.
that's okay. I can sit here for a little bit.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, awesome. Let's go on to our second question. Yay! Okay. Okay, I'm going to help you with this one again. And then for C, I'm going to let you guys try that one by yourselves. Okay. If you're feeling good, then you can sort of try while I'm talking through this as well. Again, this would be my point over here. And I know that all of my angles around that point need to equal 360 degrees. So I'm just going to write that as an equation. So x plus 140 plus x plus 10 plus, what's this? How many degrees is that little square? Does anyone remember?
90.
Yes, Princey, well done. That's 90 degrees. And all of that together has to equal 360. And my reason is going to be angles round a point. Okay. We're on a nice little equation here. We're going to add our like terms. So we've got this x, and we're going to add that other x, which means we have 2x. And then we're going to look at our numbers. We have 140 plus 10 plus 90, which gives us 240. And that's equal to 360 degrees. Then we're just going to move that 240 over. So 2x is equal to 360 minus 240, which means 2x is equal to 120 degrees. We're going to divide both sides by 2. Do you see all of this equation work that we did earlier in the year, why we needed to do it at the beginning of the year? X is equal to 60 degrees. So actually, the geometry part is only that we have to use this geometry brain is for this first line. And then all of this is actually just equation work. So if you liked equations, then you should like geometry. Okay, I'm going to put C up, but B will still be on the screen for anyone who still needs it. I would really like for you all to give C a try. Give it a try by yourselves, and let's see if we can get some answers coming in. you can just, once you've done it, don't worry, I know you're probably still on your first line. I'm not trying to rush you. Once you have an answer, you can just put it in the comments, or you can unmute and tell me and let me know what value you get for X.
Ma'am,
Yes.
like angles at the that we at a point add up to 360 degrees, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Oh, we have our first answer. I'm not going to tell you if it's the same as me just yet, so we can give others a chance. But I'm very excited that you have an answer. Okay, two have come in. Ooh, and they're the same. Interesting. Either you're both right or you're both wrong. Okay. Let's start adding. So we're going to say all of these together are going to equal 360 degrees. So 70 plus x plus 10 plus 2x minus 10 plus x plus 70 needs to equal 360 degrees. Angles round a point. Okay, and so we'll end up getting 4x plus 140 is equal to 360. If you didn't get to that point, just double check your adding. I'm going to move that 140 over. So 4x is equal to 360 minus 140, which means 4x is equal to 220 degrees. Divide both sides by 4, and x is equal to 55 degrees. Okay, so some of you were really close. Well done to everyone who got it right. That's absolutely awesome. I'm very, very happy. For those of you who got it a bit wrong, you were in the right ballpark. So I think what happened is you just made a small adding error in one of the first few lines. So just double check. Woohoo! Yes. See, I told you you're going to like geometry. Geometry is fun. You just have to tell it that you love it until it loves you back. That's the strategy for geometry. Okay, I'm going to give you, which ones should I? I'm going to give you A and B, these two. They should go nice and quickly. They're not horrible ones. And then we're going to potentially move down to our second reason, depending on people's answers here. So A, you can actually do in one step if you feel comfortable. Oh, guys, I didn't realize I was muted and I've been talking this whole time. Okay, firstly, yay, your answers coming in are looking beautiful. Secondly, when you are doing these as practices, don't think, okay, I don't need to write the comments, like the reason, because I know what it is. Because the more we write it, the better the chances that it sticks in our head and we know what's going on. And it's easier for us to remember. Okay, so for A, we're looking at that. And then we're just going to say X then, well, let's say X plus 235 is equal to 360, which means X is 360 minus 235, which means X is equal to 125 degrees. So well done for A of 125. I can see not everyone has finished B yet, so I'm just going to give you a little bit longer to finish off B, but I am seeing some good answers coming through. If you have finished B, you can give C a try for me. Okay, for B, we're going to add them all together. So 2x plus 2x plus 160 is equal to 360 degrees. Angles round a point. So 4x plus 160 equals 360. 4x equals 360 minus 160, which means 4x is equal to 200 degrees. Divide both sides by 4. Therefore, x is equal to 50. So well done to those of you who got that right as well. You are doing so well so far. Very exciting. And then C is the last question I'd like you to try with this reason, and then we're going to learn our second reason. If you are getting an ugly answer for C, and by ugly answer, I mean if you're getting a decimal, please don't panic. You're not wrong.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can you scroll down a little bit? Just
Yes,
a little.
sure. Is that enough?
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure, no problem. Oh, 2 different decimals coming in. Okay, lovely answers coming in. This was an important question to do because sometimes when we get an answer that's a decimal, we think we're wrong. But remember, with all of these questions, you can always put it back into it, oh goodness, sorry, zooming in big time over there. You can always put it back into the picture with your answer for X and see if you get 360 degrees. Okay, so let's start adding. We've got 75 plus X minus 45 plus X plus 30 plus 65 is equal to 360 degrees, angles round the point. Okay, and that gives us a beautiful line here of 2x plus 125, which is equal to 360. So 2x is equal to 360 minus 125, which gives us 235. Then we divide both sides by 2, and so x is equal to 117.5 degrees. Now, what I want you to be careful with a question like this, or not get disheartened by, is if you have this first line and you've written that beautifully, so you have your statement, you have your reason, and then you made some mistakes along the way in your equation work, okay? But the answer made sense for what you did, you would still potentially get this mark down here. So don't feel like everything was wrong. If you make a mistake with your equations, you still would have got definitely those first 2 marks in the first line. Okay. Okay, our second reason. So this is again on that piece of paper or on the book, wherever you are writing your reasons. I'd like you to put the second rectangle for me. So this is saying this angle here, which is ACD, that's this angle, plus BDCB, which is this angle. We're saying if we add those 2 angles together, so what's important is the word adjacent. Adjacent means next to. So they are angles that are next to each other. They will equal 180 degrees. And the reason is angles on a straight line. So just take a moment to put this on that piece of paper or on the book, wherever you're writing these reasons. And we'll go from there. Remember when we spoke about those definitions at the beginning of this lesson, we spoke about arms, and adjacent angles have to have a common arm. So they have to have one arm that is between them. And that's really important because sometimes we think angles are adjacent when they're not. So they have to be on either side of an arm. Okay. Does anyone need more time here?
Yes, please, ma'am.
No problem. Okay, let's move on down. So now we're going to be applying this rule. So again, I'm going to start with two really nice, easy examples, and I'm going to talk you through them, and then I'm going to let you try some alone. Okay. So first one here, this is our common arm, which means that this angle and this angle are adjacent to each other. I know that that might seem very sort of straightforward for a lot of you right now, but when these become more complicated, it's really important that we understand what adjacent means. So that means that these two angles together, because they're on a straight line, need to equal 180 degrees. So I can say x plus 135 degrees is 180 degrees because of angles on a straight line. Okay. Sorry, my kids at school always give me a lot of hassle for my angles because they say that they look like C's. I'm trying really hard to make them all look like angles, but you'll have to forgive me. All right, then we're going to move that 135 over. So x is equal to 180 minus 135, which means x is equal to 45 degrees. Beautiful. Well done. Okay. Second one. Here's a common arm and here's a common arm, which means these angles are all adjacent to each other. So all three of those angles together, because they're on a straight line, need to equal 180. So we would say x minus 10 plus x plus 66 equals 180 degrees, angles on a straight line. I'm going to make you prefer the whole of geometry, I'm telling you. It's my personal mission. 2x plus 56 is equal to 180 degrees. We're going to move that 56 over. So 2x is equal to 180 minus 56. So 2x is equal to 124. We divide both sides by 2, which means x is going to be 62 degrees. Okay. So those are just two sort of easy examples. I'm seeing the hand. Is that a question, or would you like me to stay here? I think I can get another question in with these still on the screen. Okay, so I'd like you to give C a try for me. Nice, easy question. Don't let it panic you. Okay, answers are coming in. Have a look. So here's our common arm, which means this angle and this angle are adjacent to each other. So x plus 74 is equal to 180 degrees. Angles on a straight line. So 2x plus 74 is 180. We're going to move that 74 over. So 2x is equal to 106. We're going to divide both sides by 2. Therefore, x is 53 degrees. So well done to those of you who got that answer correct. Awesome. Okay. Next two. E, oh, E, don't do E because you'll need a new rule for E. I'll talk to you about E now. So just D for me. Oh, you thought this was a 71. Yeah, no, that was a 4. Sorry, but I see why you thought it was a 71. So if you thought it was 71, your answer would be a little bit different. If it was 71 for you, you would have gotten an answer of 54.5 degrees. If you are getting 75 degrees, I think you are forgetting about our good friend 90 degrees over here. Okay, let's have a look. So there's my common arm, which means all three of these angles are going to be adjacent. And so x plus 30 plus 90, which is this guy here, is equal to 180 degrees. Angles on a straight. Yeah, the 90 degree was a sneak. Okay, so 2x plus 120 equals 180, which means 2x is equal to 60, which means x is equal to 30 degrees. So well done to those of you who got the 30. If you got the 75, you forgot about the 90, and that's okay. That's why we do these together, and that's why we practice. Woohoo! Because you haven't been doing geometry for a while, don't panic. It'll start coming back. It's because there's not like a number attached to it, so it's very easy for our brain to kind of skip over it. Okay, this one we have to learn a new rule for, but it's not a rule that we use often, which is why it doesn't have its own special block. But if you would like to put it in a block, you're welcome to. If we're looking, you were right, if you are looking at an angle that is just 90 degrees, so two adjacent angles that are at 90 degrees to each other, we could say here that x plus 70 is equal to 90 degrees. We can see that, right? So we can see that x is going to be 20. But our reason is we would say that they are complementary angles. So complementary angles, that's what this means, complementary. It means that they are at 90 degrees to each other. So when we are using something that's at 90 degrees, we just say complementary angles. So you could say comp angles is even fine. You don't even need the L. But this reason is very rarely used, but it is used sometimes. So if you would like to put it on your page, you're welcome to. All right. Oh, wait, does anyone need more time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good thing I asked. I had this feeling all of a sudden.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem. So now we're gonna, I'm gonna give you some of these questions to practice. So let's start with these first three. Okay, when you start getting answers, let me know what you are getting. Don't forget when you're writing this, for every statement, you need a reason. Don't forget to be practicing that on your side. Actually, I have to turn my camera on so that you guys can see how my cat is sitting on me for this lesson right now. She's sitting like a parrot. I don't know if you can see her. She just hopped on at some point. And now this is how we're teaching.
She's so cute.
It's ridiculous. I don't know what she's doing. She's never done this before.
Ma'am, that's okay.
Ma'am, I don't like cats.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You definitely would not be enjoying her right now because she's clearly very needy. Yes, yeah,
I'd
there
be
we go.
scared. If it jumped on me like that, I'd be very, very, very scared.
She sort of just put her paws up, so I knew she was on her way. But okay, camera it off again. Okay, I'm seeing some first answers. For the cat people, I'm non-cat people. Just be grateful it wasn't on your shoulder. Okay, let's start. So x minus 10 plus 125 is equal to 180 degrees. And my reason is angles on a straight line. Okay, so x plus 115 is equal to 180, which means that x is equal to 65 degrees. Okay, well done to those of you who got A right. Awesome. Kansani, where's D? What answer are you working on? Or was that supposed to be a B? Okay. B. Here's my common arm, which means these are my adjacent angles. And so I'm just gonna give you some extra time to finish working this out. There we go.
Ma?
Yeah. Oh, yes. No.
Okay.
Okay. So 2x plus 20 equals 180, which means 2x equals 160. And so x is equal to 80 degrees. Gorgeous. Perfect answers coming through. Excellent. Okay. I'm just going to give you a couple more seconds to work on C, and then I'll give you your next question. Okay, here's our common arm and here's our common arm. So these are all adjacent angles. And so x plus 10, and I hope those of you who forgot the 90 the last time didn't forget it now. So plus 90 plus x is equal to 180 degrees, angles on a straight line. So we've got 2x plus 100 is equal to 180 degrees, which means 2x is equal to 80 degrees. And so x is equal to 40. And again, some really good answers coming through, which is excellent. Okay. I am going to give you these last two to do, and then we're going to call it a night. So we're going to end at the end of E. So can you give these last two a try for me? And then we're going to carry on with this kind of idea of these intersecting lines in our next lesson. So D and E for me, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, so we have answers coming in for D. Let's have a look. Okay, so common arm, adjacent, adjacent, adjacent. 20 plus 2x plus 90 equals 180, angles on a straight line. So 2x plus 110 is equal to 180. 2x is equal to 70, which means x is equal to 35. Look at those answers coming in. Yay! Good. Okay, last one for the evening, E.
Ma'am,
Yes.
you look so tough.
Yeah, but it's not. Don't panic. I promise. Remember,
Okay,
do it one step at a time. Have some faith in yourself. I'll give you a hint on where to start. Find me why first. I wouldn't give you a question that you couldn't do. I promise. I'm going to help you a little bit for those who are struggling with this first part. So that's my 90 degrees. So I can say 65 plus y is equal to 90 because of complementary angles. Okay, so therefore y is going to equal 90 minus 65, which gives us 25 degrees. Okay, so we know that this is 25 degrees. So that should help you to find x. And if you'd already gotten y is 25, that's excellent. Well done. And I've just had a look at our time, so I'm going to have to keep going. So now I'm going to use, you could actually just use complementary angles again to find x, or you could say x plus 18 plus 65 plus 25, which is our y, is equal to 180 angles on a straight line. You could have used complementary angles. And so 18 plus 65 plus 25 gives us 108 equals 180, which means x is 72 degrees. So very, very well done to those of you who got that right. I hope that we are feeling a little bit more confident with geometry as we start this journey. And I'm going to pass over the mic and screen to Tula. Have a good evening, everyone.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, can you like just wait for like just a minute?
Yeah. I'm sure Tula can start speaking before he starts sharing.
Yes, no, you can, yeah, I think you guys can copy, that's okay. I just want to know in the meantime, how you guys feeling? In the beginning of this, Miss G asked how people felt about geometry, and there were some pretty low numbers. I remember particularly, I think Kramla gave like a negative rating or something.
Yeah, we got
How
a
you guys
negative
feeling?
10,000.
Yes. How you guys feeling? Temwani, Kentani, Kamva, Adora, I think you guys had very low numbers. Oh, okay. That's good. I see a smile from Klamla. Just give quick numbers. You don't
Nice
have to be
guys.
perfect at this point, but just like, are you feeling positive that you'll get better?
Daphne is always like on
Yeah,
on the ball.
over the top, yes.
Yeah, I like it though.
Ah, this is awesome. This is awesome. Oh, this is great, you guys. Keep the numbers coming if you haven't voted yet. No, this is good. And I'm glad that you guys have been very positive.
Yeah, geometry
attitude.
is fun.
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, and it's just like any new thing, because I don't think a lot of you guys have done geometry before grade 9, so it's just a new thing. So it's understandable that it's daunting for a lot of people, but as you've seen now, when you have a good teacher teaching you with patience, and you also have an open mind, it does get better. I'm gonna start sharing my screen now. I hope that's okay. And remember, if you don't manage to catch everything now, you can always go back to watobe.co.za and you can rewatch these lessons. Right, just go to grade 9 there, and all these are recorded, and you can rewatch them and copy anything you need to copy. So I'm just gonna quickly share my screen now so we can let you guys go. Okay, that is the wrong screen. Okay, here we go. So as you know, we're doing geometry, and we have quite a few lessons to get through, total of 8 lessons. Good news is we've just finished the 1 lesson, and we'll be continuing with intersecting lines on Wednesday, because we didn't finish that this evening. So we'll be doing that. And so yeah, just maybe rewatch this lesson if you need to rewatch it. Just do whatever you can. I know some of you have done it in school. Maybe you didn't understand it properly. Just go back to your notes if you have. Just do whatever you can to prepare yourself in any way. And of course, we have the homework on the Watobi app, which also tries to prepare you for this. So make sure you go to do the lessons on Watobi. Go to geometry of straight lines, and then when you click in there under intersecting lines, go to equations with complementary and supplementary angles, and equations with vertically opposite angles, and just watch the lessons there, do the quizzes, do whatever you can just to prepare yourself. And we'll also have, remember, on our next lesson on Wednesday, we'll have the leaderboard. So get in as many activities as you can, not just for the leaderboard, but of course, so you can understand. But it's a good bonus to have. So I think that's it on my side. Do you have anything to add, Ms. G? Your mic is off.
Yeah, sorry guys, I keep on muting myself. No, nothing from me. I hope you all have a good evening. I'll see you on Wednesday.
Awesome. I'm loving the numbers. And I did do the math, Andile. Yeah, it is 10. You guys have a great sense of humor. I love it. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye. Enjoy your evening.
Bye everyone.
Bye.